Hi everybody, this is an update to the my Kowalski civil case, and I have to give you a little bit of a recap so you know who I'm talking about and what I'm talking about. Now, I covered this case as it was happening, but now there's an update, um, and I want to cover it because this is the first case I covered, number one, and it was a civil case, which is different than a criminal case, and I'll kind of explain that too a little bit. But so I didn't understand all the rules of a civil case versus a criminal case until now. I'm starting to learn now. Okay. So Maya Kowalski is now an 18-year-old young woman. But she has a condition called CRPS, which is complex regional pain syndrome, and it can affect one side of your body, and like once you have it for life and there's no cure. All you can do is try to minimize the symptoms. Okay? And the symptoms are as bad as some people say the side effects of it are worse than childbirth. So for all the women out there, and maybe some men who have kids, um, remember what it was like for you or your wife or whoever to go through childbirth, and remember how painful that was? This condition is worse than that on a pain scale. Okay? Um, so she's 18 years old now, but she was 10 years old at the time. So a minor, a child. Well, they were convinced wrongly that Beata Kowalski, her mother, had Munchausen's disease, which is where you give, and it's predominantly in women, but it's where you give your child medical symptoms to get medication. But it wasn't the case here. So it's a wrongful thought. And yeah, and then also a sad fact, and this was brought up in the court case too, or the case too. It caused Beata, her mother, to unalive herself to save her daughter, in effect, because it was a medical kidnap situation, and they withheld her daughter or held her daughter without her consent for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months total. Um, but in the meantime, there was mistreatment in the hospital, severe mistreatment. Okay, so that's where we get to the civil case, because civil means financial. You're trying to get financial damages, and there are two kinds, I think. There's punitive, which is just short for punishment, and then there's another kind. I forget the word for it, but yeah. But punitive means punishment. Okay, so they got a judgment in the amount of $250 million, I think. Um, but now, okay, here's the update. I had to give you all that so you know what I'm talking about. Here's the update. Okay, they have a chance to appeal the ruling. So now they have to go to court again. Well, and prove that they owe Maya the money. So I saw bits of the civil or the appeal thing, and one of her lawyers, Greg Anderson, the wonderful Greg Anderson, was on the stand trying to prove what they did. And what they do is they use transcripts from the original case to use in this trial. So he said, when it comes to hospitals and doctors, the there there's a thing called the Hippocratic Oath, and it basically says that you swear to first do no harm to a patient to patients, and he used that phrase to show that they did harm to her. And then they had more testimony, obviously. But I mean, that snippet was enough for me to say, well, yeah, they did do harm, you know? And then they had other experts, and, you know, there was this one guy that taught a lot of the people, like doctors for years, decades, and he said he didn't want to be involved with them anymore because I think the implication was that he knew that something fishy was going on, although he couldn't detail what. So he didn't want to be part of their system anymore, and so that was that. Um, but yeah, I don't see it going in. I definitely don't see it going in the hospital's favor. I see it going to Maya, and I see them having to pay everything, which is the judgment, and also there's a little part that I didn't think about till now, which I should have mentioned, I guess, but they also have to pay the interest that has been accruing since the day they put in the judgment, which is a lot more money than the figure I said. So it would have behooved them to just pay the judgment when it was settled. But, you know, they have this fighting spirit, so, but it's just not looking good for, and it's John Hopkins All Children's Hospital, so it's J Hatch for short. But yeah, I don't see it going in their favor at all. At all. And there's too much damning evidence for it to go in their favor, in my opinion. But we shall see. I'll give, if there's more updates, I'll give more updates as I know about them. So keep looking for stuff, okay? Keep looking for my videos. Okay, bye everybody.